And then with me right now, as you've seen on the wide shot, is Dan Strothman. Dan is a senior producer here at TV Tacoma, and he is here to talk about his new show, Destiny City Rewind, now airing on TV Tacoma. And Dan, there's a new episode coming up next week, but before we get to that, what is Destiny City Rewind all about?
Well, Destiny City Rewind is about the history of Tacoma over the last 40 years, because this year is the 40th anniversary of TV Tacoma. And a couple years ago, Andy Hilliard, my boss, and Cheryl, one of our producers here, got together and decided we have 40 years of history on these tapes, yes, and they're not going to last forever.
No.
So we need to start digitizing these and creating an archive to preserve the history. And when I came on board here last year, we were looking for something to do with it, and Andy suggested, well, let's put it together into a show to kind of show the history of what we've done.
All right, so do we have some footage we can?
We do. So what you're about to see is this is the opening segment of next week's show, and next week's show is kind of different. It's just going to focus all on Cheney Stadium.
All right, let's roll it.
This program is a production of the City of Tacoma's Municipal Television Division.
This is Dan Strothman for Destiny City Rewind. In today's episode, we're going to explore the history of Cheney Stadium. Today, we're going to travel back in time to the early 1960s when Cheney Stadium first opened and was the home of the Tacoma Giants. A few short years after opening, President John F. Kennedy spoke before a packed crowd at Cheney.
We in Massachusetts do not have comparable wonders to Mount Rainier.
Then we'll dig into the TV Tacoma archives and visit with fans of the Tacoma Tigers. In the early 2000s, over 750 guitarists took to the field in an attempt to break the world record for most people simultaneously playing Louie Louie. But first, let's hear from some current Tacoma Rainiers fans about their favorite Cheney Stadium memories.
I moved here from Hawaii when I was 10, so that was 87. And that's when they had Canseco, McGuire, so definitely remember.
Yeah, so that's the beginning segment of this next episode. And what you're seeing now is, in the archives, we have tons of footage like this. As you can see, this is just driving by Union Station on Pacific in, I think, the late 80s, and look at how different it is than now.
Oh, I mean, I lived here then. I mean, look at the cars.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's probably my car parked right there. I love that. So, Dan, all of this you've compiled, as you mentioned, with Andy Hilliard and Cheryl DeMarc, and those are those archives in the basement that nobody knew about. Let's talk about, I mean, this is so great for our young people to understand how Tacoma became the city of destiny.
Yes.
You recently had an 18-year-old who got a hold of you, and what did they have to say?
Oh, he contacted us and said that he really liked the show, and he never knew that the Sonics actually played in the Tacoma Dome back in 1994. And so he's from Tacoma, and he never knew that, so he was thrilled about that. So that made me feel really good that, you know, teaching kids about the history is really cool.
Absolutely, and I know that on the wide shot when we first started, we were talking about these tapes here. Oh, you know what? That was before the Children's Museum was around. That was when it was still in that little closet on Broadway. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, and Schoenfeld's. This is incredible. I hope that every teacher who struggles with Washington State history, or any of our teachers that teach history here in the city of Tacoma, they contact you, because this is a study guide in the making. Oh, here we go. We're coming right back. So let's talk about, real quickly,
Sure.
last 10 seconds, what are these?
So this is all the formats that our archive is in. And this one right here is 3/4 inch. This is actually the oldest one we have. You can see it's 001. And this is what these tapes look like.
Oh my gosh. Now, this is going to blow some people's minds because our younger people have not seen these ever.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what went into a VCR.
Yes. And the thing that's so important and why it's so important to archive it now is these don't last forever.
There we go.
So, and in fact, some of them we've gotten are already too far gone.
Oh, that's too bad.
But thankfully, I mean, we've got thousands and thousands of hours of footage that we're able to digitize. And then there's also beta, and most people probably remember VHS.
Yep.
And
then
DVDs. Even the kids probably remember DVDs.
They probably do. Dan, thank you so much
Oh, yeah.
for reminding us that our history is vital and it paves the way, and I can't wait to watch next week's episode.
Great, and it will also be on YouTube. If you just search YouTube TV Tacoma Destiny City Rewind, it'll pop up, and yeah, you can see it next week.
Dan, you are the man.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.